Welcome to Care Partners Compass, Navigating CRC. My name is Elsa Lankford. I am the care partner to my incredible wife, Christine, who has stage 4 colorectal cancer. As a disclaimer, this podcast and its content is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by any hosts or guests on this podcast are their own personal opinions. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation. This podcast does not contain medical or legal advice. Please consult your medical professional about any medical questions or concerns. Welcome to the first episode of the second season of Care Partners Corner. I'm concentrating this episode on cancer research. I'm doing this from my heart. I don't have a script. I don't have notes. But I have a lot of feelings about this that I am trying to control. With this podcast, I tend to focus on things that I've had time to synthesize and be able to help explain certain situations or certain terminology. But for this issue, time is of the essence. And honestly, I was going to record this last week. I'm recording this on Valentine's Day, the day after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was confirmed as the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I'm not going to concentrate on that, which infuriates me. I'm going to concentrate on cancer research and why it's important and what you can do to help make sure that it is fully funded. Because when it comes down to it, my wife and I are in Maryland, and we have senators and a representative that are fighting for full NIH funding, National Institutes of Health, because NIH is in Maryland, and they care about their constituents. And there's a number of incredible research institutions that are furthering cancer research here in Maryland. But maybe this podcast is going to get to somebody in another state. And maybe you don't have the same politics as me, or maybe you do. This isn't about politics. This is about cancer patients having the best chance of making it. That's what this is about. There are scientists that dedicate their lives to finding ways of learning more about how each particular cancer works, about testing different drug combinations, about finding new technologies that give our loved ones another chance. There's multiple things that have happened over the past 2 weeks that are just wrong. Things about funding the National Institutes of Health, things about funding research, cancer centers, changing the ways that these institutions are funded hurts everybody. And it hurts everybody across the country. It doesn't just affect the campus of the National Institutes of Health. It affects anybody with cancer. Every day, I end up looking at cancer research. I look at journal articles. I look at talks from oncologists at conferences. I look at the results of clinical trials. I look at new trials that are coming up. The place where hope for cancer comes from is cancer research. And when we mess with that research, then we have less hope. And we can't afford that. In colorectal cancer, there are limited lines of chemotherapy. That means there needs to be new drugs. There needs to be tests of immunotherapy. There needs to be ways of finding more targetable mutations to have individualized and personalized treatments. All of this comes from cancer research. Every single state has incredible cancer researchers. They're publishing, they're talking about their work, they're sharing their work with others, they're coming up with really innovative ideas. The only way for this research to get anywhere, to get to patients, to be fully tested out, find out its safety, find out how effective it is, to make it to the next phase of a trial, to be able to have compassionate use of that drug. All of that requires cancer research. So I'm leaving this very simple because I don't think that there's that much to it. We have to have full funding for cancer research. So what I hope that you can do is call your U.S. representative. Call your 2 United States senators. Call your attorney general. Call your governor. As soon as the NIH funding was threatened to be cut, 22 states, their attorneys general, created a lawsuit. That was the beginning of getting it paused. That's 22 out of 50. The more that we contact our elected officials, the more that they realize that they need to do something about this. We can collectively come together across parties to agree that this horrible disease needs funding, it needs research, and it can't wait. It cannot wait. The National Institutes of Health offers trials that other research institutions don't. All of these trials, the ones at the different cancer centers, the ones at the different trial centers, the ones at NIH, need full funding. So please, for everybody's sake, I hope that you contact your congressional representatives and your senators. I'm going to put some links in the show notes about easy ways to do that using your address. And please share this, because I do believe that this is one issue where we can all agree that we can do better. We have to. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Care Partners Compass, Navigating CRC. If you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app, you know exactly when the next episode comes out. I hope that you'll share the podcast with your friends and family. The transcript of Care Partners Compass, Navigating CRC, and additional links can be found on our website, carepartnerscompass.transistor.fm.